Hello, this is Sabika Syed and welcome to the Print Headlines. Delhi police questions locals and hotel staff in Malviya Nagar fire case, set to reconstruct sequence of events. Delhi police today scoured a fire-ravaged hotel building in South Delhi's Malviya Nagar to reconstruct the sequence of events leading to the deadly blaze and question locals and hotel staff. The area around the hotel building remained cordoned off as teams from the Delhi police, crime branch, and forensic experts collected evidence into the blaze that left 21 people dead yesterday morning. Investigators are looking at all aspects, including alleged violations of building norms, fire safety lapses, illegal construction, and the circumstances that may have contributed to the high death toll. Rahul Gandhi slams Prime Minister after NEET aspirant suicide, says the Prime Minister has ruined education system for the past 12 years. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi today launched an attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi after an alleged suicide by a NEET aspirant came to light, saying an entire generation of youth is paying the price for the extent to which the PM has ruined the education system over the past 12 years. Gandhi's attack on the Modi government came after media reports said Akanksha Chaturvedi, a NEET aspirant from Madhya Pradesh, allegedly died by suicide in Nagpur after reportedly falling into depression following reports of irregularities in the NEET UG examination. West Bengal government downgrades Sourav Ganguly's security cover. The newly formed Bharatiya Janata Party state government in West Bengal has reduced the security cover for Sourav Ganguly, former captain of the Indian cricket team, from the Z category to the Y category. The development was confirmed by officials of the West Bengal Police Security Wing as part of an ongoing routine exercise in reviewing the security cover of various prominent personalities in the state based on their threat assessments. Complaint filed against Mamata Banerjee for linking centre with Bangladesh political killing. A police complaint has been filed against Trinamool Congress chief Mamata Banerjee by an advocate, alleging that her recent public remarks critical of constitutional institutions and linking the union government to a political killing in Bangladesh were prejudicial to the nation's sovereignty and public order. The complaint was filed yesterday by advocate Rinki Chatterjee Singh of the Calcutta High Court's Jalpaiguri Circuit Bench at the Cyber Police Station in West Bengal, Siliguri. Supreme Court dismisses plea seeking guidelines for time-bound disposal of cases. The Supreme Court of India today refused to entertain a plea seeking framing of guidelines for time-bound disposal of cases. A bench of Justices Vikram Nath and V. Mohana dismissed the plea filed by a lawyer who had also sought laying down of uniform, structured and enforceable guidelines for regulation of adjournments in all courts across the country. Sudanese national with fever detected at Hyderabad airport amid Ebola scare shifted to Gandhi Hospital. A Sudanese national who arrived at Hyderabad's Rajiv Gandhi International Airport today was isolated and shifted to Gandhi Hospital, Secunderabad, after airport health officials detected fever during thermal screening of international passengers. The development triggered speculation about a possible Ebola case. However, health authorities clarified that the passenger has not been classified as a suspected Ebola patient and is undergoing precautionary testing owing to his travel history and symptoms. Days after RSP Chief Lamechhane met Modi in Delhi, Nepal Foreign Minister Khanal set to visit India. Days after Nepal's Rashtriya Swatantrata Party chief Rabi Lamechhane's visit to India at the invitation of BJP, Nepal's Foreign Minister Shisir Khanal is set to make his first official visit to New Delhi on 6 June at the invitation of External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. During the 3-day visit, Khanal is also expected to hold talks with Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal. Among the key issues on the agenda will be the Pancheshwar Multipurpose Project, the proposed East-West Railway, plans for a rail link connecting Janakpur and Ayodhya, expanded petroleum pipeline infrastructure, and efforts to improve trade and transit arrangements. US House votes to curb Trump on Iran war as talks stall. The US House of Representatives has backed a resolution seeking to halt American military action in Iran, a symbolic move that deals a political blow to Trump as efforts to find a deal with Tehran stagnate. In the wake of the flare-ups, 4 lawmakers from the Republican Party joined the Democrats to vote 215 to 208 in favor of the public rebuke against Trump. Weeks of complicated talks marked by sharp rhetoric and flare-ups of violence have not managed to reach a deal to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Israel and Lebanon agree to conditional ceasefire. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to implement a ceasefire but said it would require a complete cessation of fire by Iran-backed Hezbollah, according to a joint statement after US-led talks in Washington. The two sides, which do not have formal diplomatic relations, also agreed to create pilot zones in which the Lebanese armed forces will take exclusive control of the territory to the exclusion of all non-state actors. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warns any attack on Beirut will trigger full-scale resumption of war. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has warned that any attack on Beirut would trigger a full-scale resumption of the West Asia war as Israel pressed its campaign against Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. Iran has repeatedly insisted that any deal to end the wider West Asia war, which its ally Hezbollah joined on March 2, must also halt the fighting in Lebanon. Rubio warns of Ukraine war escalation risk. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has warned of a real risk of the Ukraine war escalating as Kyiv showcases its ability to strike deep inside Russian territory. The remarks came after Ukrainian drones struck energy infrastructure in Russia's second largest city, St. Petersburg, an attack Kyiv called retaliation for a mass wave of Russian strikes on Tuesday that killed at least 23 people. Portugal, Austria among 5 nations elected to UN Security Council, Germany suffers setback. Austria, Kyrgyzstan, Portugal, Trinidad, Tobago, and Zimbabwe were elected as non-permanent members of the United Nations Security Council for the year 2027-28, with India saying it looks forward to working closely with them during their 2-year tenure. In a closely watched and contested election yesterday, the 193-member UNGA elected the 5 new non-permanent members who will replace Denmark, Greece, Pakistan, Panama, and Somalia when their terms conclude at the end of 2026. US strikes boat in Pacific Ocean, kills 2 over alleged drug smuggling. The US military killed 2 men after attacking a boat accused of smuggling drugs in the eastern Pacific Ocean as the Trump administration wages a months-long campaign against alleged traffickers in Latin America. Since the administration began targeting narco-terrorists in early September, the US military has killed at least 207 people in boat strikes. Donald Trump says will make former personal lawyer Todd Blanche permanent attorney general. US President Donald Trump said today that he intended to nominate his former personal lawyer, Todd Blanche, as Attorney General on a permanent basis. Todd currently serves as acting chief of the Justice Department after Trump fired Attorney General Pam Bondi following scrutiny over her handling of the release of investigative files regarding late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Beijing bans 4 New Zealand lawmakers from entering China for visiting Taiwan. Beijing banned 4 New Zealand lawmakers from traveling to China for a year and demanded they apologize because they visited Taiwan on a parliamentary trip, according to a message from the Chinese embassy conveyed via parliamentary officials and shown to the press today. The government in Wellington said, and I quote, China has hit lawmakers from other countries with sanctions related to contact with Taiwan before, but it's the first time for New Zealand parliamentarians. Supreme Court dismisses as infructuous WFI appeal against Vinesh Phogat's participation in Asian Games trials. The Supreme Court today dismissed an appeal filed by the Wrestling Federation of India or the WFI against the Delhi High Court order allowing senior wrestler Vinesh Phogat to participate in the selection trials for the Asian Games 2026. The court, however, clarified that the dismissal of the appeal should not be construed as an endorsement of the adverse observations made by the High Court against the Federation. A bench of Justices P.S. Narasimha and Arvind Kumar observed that the appeal had become infructuous since the selection trials had already been held in which Phogat participated but lost. Meta accuses Australia of breaching FTA, invokes US trade action. Meta accused Australia of violating a free trade agreement with the US by proposing a new tax on certain tech giants which do not strike licensing deals with local media, escalating a dispute which has simmered for half a decade. The Facebook and Instagram owner said a proposal to tax platforms 2.25% of all Australian revenue was indefensible and went further than actions which had prompted a response by the US government. Kohli said to be ruled out of Afghanistan ODI series. Virat Kohli is said to miss India's forthcoming ODI series against Afghanistan because of a hamstring injury sustained during the IPL final earlier this week. Kohli, who now features exclusively in the 50-over format for India, was visibly struggling while anchoring Royal Challengers Bengaluru's chase against Gujarat Titans in Sunday's IPL final. PV Sindhu exits Indonesia Open after loss to world number 1 An Se Young. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu suffered a second successive defeat to world number 1 An Se Young in as many weeks to bow out of the Indonesia Open in Jakarta today. Sindhu, who had also lost to the South Korean in the quarterfinals of last week's Singapore Open, went down 17-21, 14-21 in the round of 16 clash. The defeat extended Sindhu's losing streak against the reigning Olympic champion to 10 matches. Pahlaj Nihalani, producer and former CBFC chief, dies at 76. Pahlaj Nihalani, the veteran producer and former chairperson of the Central Board of Film Certification, has passed away. He was 76 and widely credited for giving actor Govinda his first big break with the 1986 movie Ilzam. He also introduced actor Chunky Pandey with Aag Hi Aag in 1987. Born on January 10, 1950, Nihalani started his career as a producer with the 1982 movie Hatkadi. That's all we have for you today. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest.